Okay, um, back to this old thing. Now, I've been putting lots of lemon oil on the fretboard because it's really dry, and so I'm just topping it up every time I come out here to do it. So the idea is just let it soak in, and if there's puddles of it on top, then that means that part of the fretboard is nice and hydrated and oiled, whereas some of it still looks quite thirsty because it just soaks in. So I'll not let it sit on there too long. Got some bits. First bit, knobs, just because easy to put on. A couple of these are same kind of style as the original knobs that were on it, so I'm just going to put them on now to get them out of the way, because otherwise I'll lose them. The pots, I'll clean the pots with some switch cleaner, but already that makes the guitar look much nicer, doesn't it? Now, other bit that I got was I've got a new locking nut, because if you remember, the tops of the locking nuts that were on this guitar were missing, so it couldn't lock. And also the nut was a bit rubbish, so I've also got a new nut for it too, which will require some filing. That's the original nut. I'm finding out why I should have taken better taken any measurements really, apart from just the width of the nut. So the width of the nut, this is the new nut that I've bought, kind of graphite, supposedly, a graphite compound apparently. I'm not sure if it is. It doesn't seem like it's plasticky, but replace this old plastic nut. But it's obviously higher, but it's also much wider or deeper, however way you want to think about it. So it means it doesn't really sit on here correctly. So I'm just kind of filing down a little bit. I've got quite a bit of material here to play with, so I'm just filing down a little bit off the bottom so that I don't have to cut as much on the slots. So I'm just using a file for that, so lay the file down flat and try and keep it straight so that I don't take off more material from one end than the other. You can see how the nut is kind of shaped so that the first string is lower down, if you set it flat. So I'm just going to file a little bit more material off, not too much, and then do everything else on the slots. So the way I'm going to do the slots is I'm going to set this in, and hopefully it'll sit where it's supposed to. I'm not going to glue it in at first. I'm going to string the guitar up to hold this down so that I can start doing the slots under string tension. And while I'm doing that, I want to make sure that the guitar has some sort of a rough setup. So I'll change the bridge action and make sure the neck is fairly straight, or is kind of a playing setup. And yeah, the new locking nut that I bought, I don't know, you see there is a problem in that you can see the truss rod. Now even in the old setup, truss rod access, where did that go? That went somewhere around here-ish, I think. I'm not sure actually. Went somewhere. And yeah, it's quite awkward to actually get in. To get the truss rod, you'd have had to take this off, which isn't great at all. So we'll see. We'll see what we do. Okay, I think the decision about the locking nut has been made for me, because there's a couple of things I didn't take into account. I don't have any string trees, so I don't have any that I can put on unless I take them off another guitar. So that string's just going to go like that, which obviously is not good at the nut because you want it to be straight. It'll also ping off, and if you did manage to keep it on there, then it would be a break point. That's just not, it's just silly. Now I could have used the old locking nut saddle, but because this new nut is much wider, deeper, it doesn't fit on where it used to. So the two options would be to try and get this as narrow as the old nut was, or just put the new locking nut on. And I'm going to go with putting the new locking nut on while I knock things over in the background here, because then I'll be able to, it will be a true locking nut, because I don't have a complete locking nut on the old one. So this could end quite badly, because it means I have to make some screw holes in here, which is great. See you on the other side. So I've decided to file the nut down a bit anyway. Now I'm not filing down the kind of the string side. I'm filing down the tuner side, because obviously this is kind of coming off manufacturer, that's nice and straight. Whereas this doesn't, I'm not too bothered if this isn't completely straight, which it's not likely to be with my filing skills. So I'm using the old nut as a comparison. There's still a couple of mil to go. We'll see how we get on. So just file flat down on the table and try and keep even pressure along the length of the nut. Right, I've filed away the bottom of the nut a bit. Let's loosen that locking nut, which didn't go on straight, as you can see, but it's just stopping this nut from sitting in right. And of course it's cheap crap, so the screws are, see, this nut is now not sitting in flat, which is awesome. So let's see what we can do. Maybe let's tap it in. See if it'll tap in. Just a little bit of a gap. And let's bring this up to tension. That'll help get it down. And I can see that that is just too high. Stop wobbling. You can see that action is very high. So it needs to come down a little bit, unless I want to play slide on this. This guitar wasn't built for slide though, was it? So I got just some very cheap and probably too big needle files. Really I need something finer, but again, this is a junk guitar. I'm not worried too much about it. Right, I put some strings on it. The nut is still not great, but and the locking nut is still wonky. Haven't tuned up or anything. I put proper tension on the strings, but I'm going to plug it in for the first time and we'll see if it works. Ooh, it makes a noise. So that's a start. So let me tune it up and we'll give it a play. So plugged it in and started to tune it up, but the bridge just decided to pop up, so there's not enough tension on the springs or something on the back, which I've now taken out, just until I figure out what's going on. And I just don't know how to get this bridge down, so I need to do some research, figure out how to get that kind of down properly, because every time I got anywhere near, well, not even anywhere near getting up to full string tension, the bridge was just sat like that, at a huge angle. That's not an exaggeration, it was about that angle. So I need to figure out how to balance it. So some research on ye olde YouTube will help. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. But I don't know, I can't remember if I was filming while I made some noise, but yes, it makes noise. And it doesn't sound too hideous. Okay, right. I've taken the strings off again, kind of just flailing on the bridge, because I've ordered some new springs to get enough tension on the strings to float the tremolo properly. So in the meantime, I've gone back to polishing the frets, because they were rough as hell, because I didn't have the right sandpaper at hand. So I've done a little bit more sanding on these, with first of all some 600 grit and then some 1200 grit, and now I'm going to use some Brasso wadding to give them a polish and see if that brings them up a bit better, using my own DIY fret protector, plastic CD slipcase, hole cut in it, very basic, not great, but it works ish. So just give the frets a bit of a buff with this polish and see how it works. Now there's a lot of polish that wants to go onto the fretboard, which isn't good, so I'll try and wipe that away. That's why I've got the old latex gloves as well, because I don't know if this shit's nasty or not. It says that it irritates your skin. That's sensitive. So this Brasso wadding, it's this stuff, and basically the polish is soaked into the wadding. So you just break a piece off. Try not to touch it because I don't want to get nasty shit on me, and also I can't be bothered to put on another latex glove. So yeah, basically the wadding is just soaked in the polish and put in a can. So we'll see how successful my first attempt at a fret dress is. Hopefully it's good enough, because, well, next on the agenda for a fret dress is obviously the SG base, which I put the new frets on. And then after that I've got a couple of other, well, I want to dress the frets on my Les Paul Gold Top, which I will do a video about sometime. I want to do a video showing you the gear I have, just the guitars that I have and stuff. I don't know why, just seems like a good idea, I guess. Let you see what I play and what kind of shape I've let them get into. Okay, I tightened up the strings that I have, or the springs that I have on this. It's still not quite enough tension to pull these down, but it's alright for now. Tuned it up. There are some obvious problems with fretting out. I've had to raise the action quite a bit on the treble side. Put an old whammy bar in that I've had from my old Strat. But yeah, stick it in. This is going into a Line 6 Spider amp. So here's the bridge. Bridge. Middle pickup. And the neck. Screw it, let's have all the pickups on. Noisy pot. The volume pot is quiet enough, I guess.